Welcome to Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez, a story that boldly asks the question, what if your biggest red flag was that everyone you date immediately finds their soulmate the moment you leave them? Cute, horrifying. Let's begin. Before we jump back into the story, just a quick moment of honesty. These videos run on caffeine, late nights, and pure chaos, but we love every second of it. If our over-the-top humor and dramatic recaps are your thing, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. It helps us keep the madness going and tells YouTube we're not just screaming into the void. Stick around, join the fun, and help our tiny corner of the internet grow. Now, let's get back to it. Emma is a travel nurse who treats permanency the way most people treat expired milk. Absolutely not. Commitment is not her brand, roots are suspicious, and settling down is basically a horror trope. This aversion did not appear out of nowhere. Credit goes to her emotionally neglectful, chaos-powered mother, Amber, who specialized in disappearing acts and lifelong trauma. Emma coped by becoming mobile, self-reliant, and deeply allergic to anything resembling stability. Enter Justin, a software engineer who looks like a cinnamon roll but is emotionally bracing for impact. His mother is heading to prison for embezzlement, which means Justin is about to inherit full custody of his 3 younger siblings, Alex, Sarah, and Chelsea, along with a lifetime supply of responsibility. Fun twist, Justin is not looking to casually date. He is looking for permanence. Naturally, Emma and Justin connect over a deeply cursed shared experience. Everyone they date finds the one immediately after breaking up with them. Not during the relationship, not years later, immediately. As if the universe is running a personalized romantic prank channel. So, they do what any rational adults would do. They decide to date each other temporarily, fully convinced this will reverse the curse and launch them toward their actual soulmates. No emotional consequences expected. Absolutely foolproof. And to make this very chill, very casual plan work, Emma convinces her best friend, fellow travel nurse, and foster sister Maddie to swap their next 6-week assignment from Hawaii. Yes, Hawaii to Minneapolis, Minnesota. Love requires sacrifice, apparently. They move on to a literal island in the middle of a lake, accessible only by a single pontoon boat, which is subtle symbolism and not at all on the nose. This is Emma's safe place, isolated, contained, and impossible to reach unless invited. Almost immediately, the past calls, literally. Amber resurfaces after 2 years of silence, claiming she's found Emma's beloved childhood stuffed animal and will mail it to her. This gesture is somehow both tender and ominous. Maddie, who has a functioning memory, does not buy it for 1 second and reminds Emma that Amber historically brings pain, not healing. Still, Emma hopes, because of course she does. As Emma and Justin begin dating, Justin goes all in. Thoughtful dates, effort, emotional availability, the full terrifying package. Emma opens up about her childhood, how Amber vanished for an entire summer, how Emma was placed in foster care, and how Amber never came back for her. Justin is appropriately horrified. Then, because this story believes in timing, Amber shows up in Minneapolis in person. Surprise! Amber's surprise visit to Minneapolis begins with optimism and ends exactly how seasoned readers expect, badly. Emma, running on hope and unresolved attachment, is thrilled to see her mother. Maddie and Justin, running on pattern recognition, are deeply uncomfortable. Amber insists she's changed. She's in therapy now, she's in a better mental place. This is presented with the confidence of someone who absolutely expects to be believed without evidence. Almost immediately, Amber becomes intensely infatuated with Emma's landlord and coworker, Neil. And by infatuated, this means she emotionally disappears from Emma's life again, while being physically present this time, which is somehow worse. Amber ignores Emma in favor of Neil, throws herself into his world, and begins painting an enormous rose mural in his house. Because when repairing relationships, nothing helps quite like unsolicited home renovations. Emma predictably accepts this behavior with quiet optimism and internal damage. Maddie does not. Maddie remains firmly planted in reality and continues to warn Emma that Amber's presence is destabilizing, not healing. Emma listens politely and then continues hoping anyway. Meanwhile, Emma and Justin keep dating, and the emotional contrast between them becomes impossible to ignore. Emma makes it very clear she will never give up her nomadic lifestyle. Justin makes it equally clear that he does not do casual, temporary, emotionally ambiguous relationships. This is not a misunderstanding. This is a direct conflict of values. Their solution? Ignore it until later, bold strategy. As their connection deepens, Emma explains her coping mechanism. When overwhelmed, she becomes small and retreats to a metaphorical island where she shuts everyone out. Only Maddie and Amber have ever been able to reach her there. Justin absorbs this information with concern, patience, and the quiet realization that he has absolutely signed up for something complicated. In return, Justin opens up about his own looming reality. His mother is going to prison, and he will soon have full custody of his siblings, Alex, Sarah, and Chelsea. This is not a future plan. This is happening, and it means Justin will be permanently rooted in Minneapolis. Emma, who measures safety in distance and exit strategies, understands immediately what this implies. Loving Justin means staying. Staying means terror. Emma meets Justin's family and inconveniently loves them. The kids are wonderful. The home feels warm. The life is real. And Emma knows, without question, that when her assignment ends, she will leave all of it behind. When Justin officially takes custody of his siblings, Emma keeps dating him anyway. Because feelings. Maddie, seeing the emotional train speeding toward impact, agrees to extend their Minnesota assignment by another 6 weeks. This buys Emma time to bond more deeply with Justin, time to grow closer to the kids, and time to make leaving exponentially more painful. Everything is stable. Everything is fragile. And Amber, as always, is quietly winding up in the background. Just as Emma begins to believe that maybe she can balance love without losing herself, Amber detonates. Emotionally first, then literally everything else. After growing increasingly volatile, Amber has an explosive meltdown that ends with her vandalizing Neil's car and smashing one of his prized medical excellence trophies because nothing says "I'm in therapy" like property destruction. The fallout hits Emma exactly where it always does. She becomes small, she retreats, and she emotionally pulls away from Justin right after reminding him, firmly, that what they have is still casual. This is deeply confusing for Justin, who is actively raising 3 children with her, but Emma insists on the label anyway. For several days, their communication drops to the bare minimum. No dramatic breakup, just emotional distance and quiet hurt. And during this separation, karma intervenes in the form of illness. Emma gets sick, really sick, while stranded alone on the island with Maddie out of town. Enter Justin, who immediately drops everything and comes to take care of her. He feeds her, monitors her, stays with her, and provides exactly the kind of steady care Emma has never had in moments of vulnerability. This act cracks something open. Justin earns access to Emma's metaphorical island, the one place she doesn't let people go. For the first time, she allows him in, and once she does, the emotional dam breaks. Emma admits she's falling in love, not just with Justin, but with the life she's built in Minneapolis. The routine, the family, the belonging. Unfortunately, fear still has the upper hand. For the next several weeks, Emma practically lives at Justin's house. She helps with the kids, settles into domestic rhythms, and feels dangerously at home. Stability starts to feel less like a trap and more like a promise. Naturally, this cannot last uninterrupted. Amber erupts again. This time, she's been caught stealing from Neil. When he suggests they take a break, Amber escalates by trashing his home. Emma is pulled back into crisis management mode, joined by Maddie and Justin, who clean up the damage and calm Amber down. Again. Emma absorbs the emotional cost. Again. The next day, Justin, Maddie, and the kids celebrate Emma's birthday. It's warm, joyful, and sincere. Everything Amber never provided. On this day, Emma finally agrees to look at the DNA test Maddie convinced her to take weeks ago. The results are not subtle. Emma has a half-brother, Daniel Grant, plus multiple aunts and cousins. A whole family Amber never mentioned. Ever. Emma contacts Daniel and agrees to meet him in Waukon, Minnesota. When she arrives at his home, she sees a photograph that shatters everything. Amber smiling, sipping Bloody Marys in Waukon during the exact summer she abandoned Emma to foster care. When Emma returns to Minneapolis, armed with truth, receipts, and a shattered inner child, she confronts Amber. This is the moment that should bring closure, accountability, or at least visible remorse. It does not. Amber meets Emma's devastation with apathy. No apology, no explanation, just emotional indifference, delivered with the casual cruelty of someone who has always known she'd never be held responsible. That's it. Something finally snaps into place for Emma. Love curdles into resentment, and for the first time in her life, she cuts ties with her mother. Completely. No contact, no hope, no more chasing a version of Amber that never existed. Amber, reacting exactly as expected, spirals. Unable to regulate her emotions, she sets Neil's house on fire and disappears from town. Yes, literally. Arson, then vanishing. Because if Amber is going down, she's taking the concept of closure with her. Emma implodes. She becomes smaller than ever, fully retreating to her internal island, sealing herself off from everyone. Trauma takes the wheel, and Emma does what she has always done when things become unbearable. She runs. She leaves Minneapolis without telling Justin or Maddie, books herself into an airport hotel, and prepares to disappear emotionally and geographically. What Emma does not know is that Maddie, who has spent years loving her like a sister and parenting her like a guardian, anticipated this exact move. Maddie hid AirTags in Emma's luggage. This is not a violation. This is survival strategy. Maddie finds Emma at the hotel and delivers the most important conversation of Emma's life. No sarcasm here, just truth. Maddie refuses to let Emma self-destruct quietly. She calls out the pattern. Running is not independence, it's avoidance. Leaving is not strength, it's fear. And Emma cannot heal if she keeps escaping the moment things hurt. For the first time, Emma listens. Emma agrees to stop running. Not forever, not magically, but intentionally. She agrees to face her trauma, to get help, and to break the cycle Amber created. With Maddie's support, she makes a painful but necessary decision. Emma returns to Justin's house, not to stay, but to say goodbye. She explains that she cannot give him or his siblings the stability they need right now. She loves him, but love without healing would be selfish. Until she can unlearn her flight response and address her trauma, she cannot promise permanence. Justin is devastated, but he understands, because Justin has always been steady, even when it hurts. Emma leaves, not in chaos this time, but with purpose. For the next 6 months, Emma does something revolutionary. She stays. She and Maddie take assignments in Walken, Minnesota, the same town that unknowingly held the truth about Emma's childhood abandonment. Instead of running from it, Emma steps directly into it. She meets the Grant family, her aunts, cousins, and half-brother Daniel, and discovers what Amber never wanted her to have: extended family, consistency, and proof that she was never unlovable or disposable. She was simply left. Emma also begins therapy. Real therapy. The kind that doesn't magically fix you in a montage but slowly dismantles years of survival mechanisms that once kept you alive and now keep you isolated. She's diagnosed with complex PTSD, which finally gives language to her lifelong instincts to flee, detach, and stay untethered. The diagnosis doesn't excuse her behavior, but it explains it, and understanding becomes the first step toward change. And Justin, he gives her space. Not because he stops loving her, but because he respects the work she needs to do. No dramatic ultimatums, no emotional manipulation, just steady patience, the same way he parents his siblings, the same way he loves. When Emma finally feels ready, truly ready, she returns to Minneapolis. This time, she doesn't arrive running from something. She arrives choosing something. She goes to Justin and, for the first time in her life, says the words without qualifiers or escape hatches. She loves him, not as a moment, not as a season, forever. She offers to stay, to build a life, to choose permanence, not because she's afraid to leave, but because she no longer needs to. Justin accepts immediately because, of course he does. His family embraces her like she never left. The life Emma once feared now feels earned. 2 years later, Emma and Justin get engaged. Not as a cure, not as a grand romantic gesture meant to fix old wounds, but as two people who did the work, faced their past, and chose each other with eyes wide open. The curse? Gone. Turns out the trick wasn't dating just for the summer. It was finally staying for the right reasons. And that's just for the summer. A heartwarming tale proving that the real curse wasn't bad dating luck, but unresolved trauma in a cute cardigan. If you enjoyed this sarcastic emotional roller coaster, like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell so YouTube knows you have excellent taste, and comment below with your favorite moment or which character needed therapy the fastest. See you in the next summary.